about the roster. They've had time to think about the comps, and we'll get that going. And Vertigo Black will be the first off the board here, so we'll get a sense of what they're looking to do. And we'll wait for that pick to come in. They'll take the Koshka away, Rom.
Very smart pick on their part. They're trying to prevent those early game comps again. What they're going to most likely do is run with what they feel comfortable with. That's pretty much guaranteeing themselves more passive comps, more late scaling comps. In doing so, especially at level 1, I would like to see them start at their fronts and then guarantee their back. So in any way, as long as they have vision in their tri-bush, they can prevent any lane ganks, in the early levels. On Liberation X side, they're going to go with what works. Regardless of the comp they're going to pick, you're going to see aggression in the jungle, and it's going to be helped by either the roamer or the jungle carry.
Now, Rona comes off the board by Liberation X. Is this just related to the fact that Vertigo Black has first pick?
Yes, because now if they don't choose a fortress here, then we can see Liberation X guaranteeing themselves glaive and fortress in their first 2 picks. So Vertigo Black has one choice, and I wouldn't have chosen that because Cruel, you can leave for the last pick. You're not trying to fight anybody over a secured pick of a Cruel.
That's so interesting. Maybe they're trying to disguise something, Hafu?
I'm not sure what's there to disguise about a Cruel. It's kind of one play style, and it's to get to late game. There is no early game Cruel, really.
No, I just mean that at least if they do the Cruel, it doesn't reveal what they have planned for the other 2 picks.
That is true, and they can counter what Liberation X has in store for them. But it's still, I think we can expect the glaive and the fortress. So, no, wrong on both counts.
Wrong on both counts.
Wrong on both counts.
So, Rome, what might we be seeing here? Is this just they see the Cruel, they're going to pick accordingly?
Yeah, so double stuns it's really good against Crawl. Even so, so now they have to be very smart with their early engages. If they're missing dual skill shots, it's going to be very penalizing. So coming into this, they have to be prepared. Shot calling and trying to chain their stuns is really good. Guaranteeing a last pick in Catherine would be very nice. Because on Vertigo Black, you'll probably see them trying to get maybe an Arden to help them out.
And Liberation X, so
they took out the stun.
Yeah, they took away the stun. It was almost the comp that got them here into this match. We were wearing the pins in honor of that triple stun. Vertigo Black sees that, takes the triple stun away, and gets Best Chuck NA on the scarf, which at least is a positive shot in the arm for them.
I really like Vertigo Black's comp right now.
Me too.
I think it has a lot of potential, and I think if they play it right, if they make those smart choices in the early game, that they will transition to a later game a lot more comfortably. Last game,
I'm sorry, no, just these are certainly their signature heroes for each of them.
Yes, definitely. Because last game when they had on the other team was a very aggressive early comp, and they prevented everything that Kroll could do to be able to transition. This game, I think Kroll will have a lot easier time.
Hafu, have you been impressed with the Ardens that you've seen throughout the tournament? He's been everywhere as kind of that last puzzle piece to fill out the comps.
Yeah, again, he's great offensively and defensively, and I think it's just a flex roam, Catherine is great for the stuns, but she feels underwhelming in fights, whereas Arden's good early game, and once he gets that all, it swings the fight completely.
Okay, so in this second match, Vertigo Black, their backs are against the wall. They must win or they go home. And on Liberation X side, they know that their superstar laner is on a plane from Texas. He's in the air. He's going to land, unless he's on the Wi-Fi, he's going to land and find out if he's getting to play or if he's just here to see California. We're ready to find out if Liberation X can punch their ticket and get a rematch with Von Menace. Let's go to the casters, Forecourt, Jester, and Vedius.
Not only is there a lot of pressure now on this Kroll to perform 0 for 2, let's go for a 1 for 3. But of course, the winner of this taking on to the semis of Von Menace, the #1 seed, which is arguably just the strongest and most feared team here. Well, this is definitely going to be quite the game. Forecourt Jester here with Vedius, and possibly our last one of the night as well.
Yeah, it could definitely be. We've had a lot of action-packed games throughout the day. We have had the pleasure of arguably casting the best game of the entire tournament, and I would recommend that you guys go and check it out if you haven't already, because it has been a fantastic tournament so far.
Absolutely. So once more into the fold, it's going to be Vertigo Black with that Kroll super pick on that first round. Off to the left-hand side, Best Chuck NA into the lane, Vixen and Beowulf once more here for the represent. One fan at least here in the crowd. God bless you. Liberation X on the flip side, however, it is going to be Exhale once more into that lane with Celeste. And, you know, this Scarf, I said it was going to be a Scarf laner. You had doubts on me, but Scarf versus Celeste, we've seen that a few times.
We definitely have. It's fairly even during the laning phase, and pretty much both compositions are fairly even. They want to take a little while to ramp up. They want to wait for those key power spike items before they really look to go for those type of engagements. So I think Vertigo Black are going to be a little bit happier compared to last game, where Liberation X were all about the aggression. And while Liberation X can still be aggressive with the composition that they're running, it might not be the best decision available to them.
Well, Catherine now just camping out in that top bush, looking for a chance here on top of Excel, but Excel is keeping a distance. Vixen there as well, but Best Chuck and A. Oh, this could be bad timing. This could be great. Depends on how it all goes. Excel just does not take the damage that they're looking to put out here from Vertigo Black, and now Vixen gets hit from behind with that gank, and Liberation X once more with the early blood.
That was very nice rotational play coming out from Liberation X. I'm not sure if they predicted it or what, but that was very, very smart. They came in from behind, they set up the flank, they immediately go, let's focus down Vixen. They collapse upon him, they get the stun, they get the follow-up from Mardo, and he drops instantly. Fantastic play coming out from Liberation X to get the ball rolling in their favor.
And Best Chuck NA was just kind of denied his farm in that lane as well. You can see it now getting shoved right up against that turret. And Celeste able to pick up a little bit of a lead, I'd say, right there. 7 and compared to the 17. Definitely doing some good things there. But Vixen has that first blood. I mean, again, you have a lot to prove here with this Krull. 0 for 2. Now coming into the third. Beowulf trying his best right there to take down these bags. Marto's saying, wait a second. They got to be here somewhere. And they will get a 1 for their trouble.
Beowulf did a fairly nice play right there. To be able to steal that small jungle camp away is going to be a nice advantage gained. 80 gold in his back pocket he's going to be pretty happy with. And let's just have a quick look at the early itemization coming out. We can see a couple of light shields coming out from Vertigo Black. Want to deal with the damage coming out from XL. Jewel is going to be working towards that weapon power build, but still has some crystal power available to her as well. Have a look at XL, also going towards that very early light shield. So they want to be stacking up this light shield, or this shield rather, especially early on in the game.
Krull once more going for double swift shooter, wants to get those weakness stacks, stacking as much as he can, has a little bit of armor as well, but at this point he is the only death on the board. Best Chuck and A has to just do the best that he can here for the defense, because XL has just been pushing and pushing and pushing, and Best Chuck and A at this point just cannot deal with this level of push.
But he will get to a point, depending on how he decides to max his abilities. He does have a lot of wave clear available with the Goop and Flame Spitter combination available to him, so we'll have to keep an eye out on that. The difference mainly is that XL has a lot of poke available, a lot of siege available, as it does look like Vixen could be caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, but it's status bake right now. He just came over that wall. He was looking for those backs, and I'm not entirely too sure Vixen made that worth. Now here comes Marteau. Will Vixen actually get out of it? Nope, it's an uppercut to the face. That's actually no response out of this Jewel. Finally now coming down. Not entirely too sure about the Celeste either, but Vixen is going to be running for the hills, and more importantly, he's not farming.
Yeah, have a look at XL though. He's too low, ready to come down for the rotation, but I think Status Baked has enough to get the kill.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Vixen trying to do his best here for the jukes, but there's the speed up and there's the hit, and that's the second kill of the game.
So a bit of a misplay coming out from Vixen. Also trying to do a bit of counter jungling onto the backs of Liberation X, but it did not work out, and that results in another kill going over Status Baked, who arguably you definitely do not want those kills to be going on to.
All right, Best Truck and A during all that did actually pick up a good bit of crystal to his name. Beowulf is trying to set up here for Vixen to come right back in and pick up these backs, which is, damn decent of him. But at the same time, Marto, coming into that one. The timing was almost perfect for those steals, but you can see, again, this early game domination coming out from Liberation X as they're up about 1,000 gold.
They certainly are, but at this early on in the game, it doesn't mean that much, as Vixen has found Status Baked.
Yeah, and that's going to be some big focus on top of Jewel. We did actually use the shield there from Marteau onto Status Baked, and they swapped targets. You can see those weakness stacks on both of them, so there was no real cohesive target, but now they got Excel here. Double stun off the back of that one, and the big red button. They're bringing everyone low, but can they seal the deal?
Doesn't look like that they can. They're trying to collapse onto Best Chuck and A, who immediately returns to the safety of his turret, and he's going to be perfectly fine after that small exchange back and forth. Status Bait reaching that level 6 point, tried to take advantage of the level advantage, the level difference that he had in his favor, but wasn't quite able to make the most of it. But Exhale right now could be the one caught out.
Well, he's going to drop a little bit low, about that half. Rocket Leap coming in, that's going to secure Beowulf, and he's going to be dropping level 3 on that Beowulf as well, compared to the almost 7 here of Status Bake. The level difference itself is notable, and a decent gold payout at the back of that as well. The Arden was just tanking up that gold mine, and now what did I say, 1,000? Well, it's about 1,300 or so, and again, looking for that counter invade. Status Baked is starting to get really scary this game.
So Liberation X are the type of team where if you give them a hand, they'll take your entire arm, and you can see that right in this game, simply because they have a slight lead off the back of that first blood they were able to pick up during the laning phase, and off the back of that, their aggression has been unrelenting. It hasn't really helped. The Vixen has been caught out of position a number of times, trying to go for those deep invades, and they haven't been working out. But Status Baked and Marto have been fearless in walking into the enemy jungle, looking for these exchanges, and constantly coming out ahead with their superior positioning and superior decision making.
3-0. Liberation X just feeling very comfy about this one. Best Chuck NA going back home, picks up a little bit more of his ore items. He's looking at that Frostburn, but a Life Spring on Marteau. That's at 6 minutes in. That's his, well, arguably first item.
Yeah, it looks like he's working towards that Fountain of Renewal, and hang on, Beowulf could be in a bit of trouble, but he is going to walk out of that one. The biggest thing right now for Vertigo Black is they're putting all their faith onto Best Chuck NA. He is playing that Scarf. You can see a lot of wave clear now working in his favor.
Yep.
If he can stall the game out long enough, Vertigo Black could get to a point where they can start to outscale.
If we can get Marteau to 6 in the next few moments, well, all right, well, that is not where Status Big needs to be. A 2v1 situation and no support. It's Best Chuck and A again, just trying to keep Marteau at bay, and yeah, that will be the first point on the board here for Vertigo Black, but if Marteau can get up to 6, that will be a significant advantage in terms of the fights, because that will be all 3 ultimates now available to Liberation X. We have a level 4 Beowulf at this point.
We do, and it's really hurting them. But if Status Baked is going to keep making aggressive plays like the one he just made, handing over these objectives is not something that they can afford to do. But the minion candy has been used in the gold mine.
Yeah, and Arden's trying his best. There comes a Solar Storm.
Oh!
Beowulf is actually going to drop to the Arden on the back of that Solar Storm, and this Gold Miner is still standing. Vixen there, it's going to be the fire recoup there, and Vixen trying his best to take it. They will get the payout, but Arden, big red button at the end of it. Marteau should be able to finish this one off with an uppercut, but he doesn't have the timing, and Vixen will actually escape with his life.
That was so close between the two teams. That was a beautiful minion candy, followed up by the Solar Storm. Hang on, the engagement isn't done yet.
And Best Truck NA has his escape basically covered at that point, but the goop goes out and they cannot chase. The fiery goodness of the flame is going to be enough for him at this point, but Best Truck NA, that was a super scary moment for him.
It certainly was. He had to use his boots to get out of that tricky situation, but he is going to be perfectly safe. He's going to continue to stall this game out with his phenomenal wave clear. But coming back to that exchange, Vixen was able to pick up the gold mine, so he was able to get a tiny gold payout, which does provide them with vision control. It does give them a bit of an advantage, and he is able to pick up a Shiver Steel off the back of that, which means it's going to be so much easier for him to stick onto targets coming into these next few exchanges.
And there's that Fountain of Renewal there from Liberation X as well. Now, Status Baked is that Sorrow Blade, so he's actually starting to hit pretty decently hard, but Exhale's actually the one with the first reflex block of the game.
Having that reflex block is going to be very valuable coming into these fights. But speaking of fights, it looks like we're going for another one.
Yeah, but that gold miner has no candy on it. Marteau does throw down that gauntlet, but we have to jump to safety. Big flame breath coming in, and that actually could be it for Marteau, but he lives right through it. The life spring is doing work. They get the gold mine, but Celeste is down. Arden is now out of it as well. Status Bake will turn around with a Thunderstrike, but he has no Rocket Leap to go anywhere, so it will be the ace. Now going to Vertigo Black, and they're breathing some sighs of relief after that fight.
They certainly are. Liberation X going for that play around the gold mine actually was looking pretty good, but then immediately Vertigo Black responded by collapsing down onto them. I do believe that they were able to drop the minion candy down onto the gold mine because he contributed so much in terms of their damage potential. It wasn't just a straight up 3v3. That gold miner was doing so much work in that exchange, and he really has to be credited to enable Vertigo Black to come out ahead in that fight.
The gold mine has been a very contested objective this round.
Certainly has.
Switching hands 3 times now. But coming into the 10-minute mark, the gold lead kind of got a bit decimated right there. 1,400 or so between these teams. And Vertigo Black not faring nearly so terribly as they did in the first game.
So look at this. Best Chuck and A now completed that Frostburn along with the Reflex block. He's going to be providing a lot more utility, making it easier for Vixen to sit on top of the Liberation X lineup. That is exactly what Vertigo Black want. And this is how they've been executing their team composition perfectly. They know they need to stall the game out for quite a while. They know they need to wait for Kroll to complete that breaking point. He's already got the Shiver Steel completed. Ideally, they want Best Chuck and A to work towards a little bit more damage as well. And once they get to that point, they know they can start contesting these fights. XL, though, has completed the Broken Myth along with the Reflex block, so he's also going to be doing a fair amount of damage. The question is now, who's going to be the main team looking for the fight?
Beowulf immediately just shields up right there. Any kind of Thunder Strikes wouldn't have quite hit the mark there from Status Baked, but some good poke coming out from that Scarf, using the over-the-wall advantage and the range just to really start bringing down Marteau. I'd be very surprised to see Liberation X go for a dive here, but they have their own poke as well. The Thunder Strikes hitting fairly hard as well as those Heliogenesis. Now Best Chuck and A not looking so healthy after that.
Certainly is, and Best Chuck and A did take a lot of poke from XL, who's doing a lot of work. The Gauntlet goes down.
Counter stun from that failed Catherine engage. Here comes the leap as well. Beowulf is low on the hit points, but we do have that Life Spring doing work. Marteau's under that turret right now as well. Stuns and misses just going all down, and Beowulf cannot solidify or get that one. The big red button unfortunately does not hit the mark either, and everyone goes home with low health, but Status Baked is trying to make this happen. He goes into the bush. He dives right through it. He wanted that kill. The turret is now going to be a big target. Status Baked is still taking. He gets the second as well. Now Best Chuck's just saying, what just happened? And an ace for the team. They lost out the jewel, but they get themselves 3 kills.
Status Baked is all about man mode right there. He did not hesitate. He knew how low Vixen was, and immediately he was like, I am getting this kill, and the rest of my team are following up. He knew when his rocket jump was available. He knew that he could go into that brush, get the kill, rocket jump to safety, and that someone else could deal with the turret aggro, or he could tank it long enough for the rest of his team to clean up that fight. Not only do they get the turret, they get a number of kills. They extend their gold lead even further. Liberation X, fantastic play coming out from them.
Poor Chuck NA right there. I mean, that was basically a great disengage, and just Status Baked, as he said, going man mode, going YOLO into that. It really caught Vertigo Black off guard, and 3 kills and a turret later. We're going to have that payout coming out in the next 2 minutes or so here for Liberation X as well. You can see the candy on that gold mine. Kraken about 2.5 out from this as well, and the gold lead still really not as big as you might think.
All right, but look at the infusion that has just been picked up by Status Baked. They recognize that with the breaking point completed on Vixen, he's now hit a pretty major power spike where he could be looking to fight and really could look to have an impact in the next few engages. So they need to be very careful, and because Vertigo Black may very well be looking for this fight, that is why these infusions have been picked up. If Vertigo Black don't recognize that coming into the next engagement, Liberation X are going to have a massive advantage.
Well, we see Beowulf, we see Best Chuck, but no sign of Vixen here for Status Baked to recruit. The shield will go down and keeps Beowulf a little bit healthier, but at this point, oh, that was a miss. That's going to be a bit of a detriment when it comes to those stacks, but still, the poke is here. Heliogenesis and those Thunder Strikes, they're starting to add up on top of that Catherine, and, well, Beowulf, if he starts going down quicker and quicker, we actually could see another dive.
We certainly could. I think it could be risky, though, going up against the Scarf. It's very easy. It looks like they're going for the fight right now.
Oh, Marteau is the big target here from the Kroll. 3 stacks.
Whoa!
Oh, that Solar Storm is massive. The Gauntlet is going to get through that Reflex block, but Status Baked, he jumps in again. Best Chuck and A with the boots. He is trying to keep his distance. Status Baked might have bit off too much that he could chew, and now Marteau is going to fry to death as well, and that is a 2-0 turnaround as Vertigo Black successfully defend.
That was a poorly executed turret dive by Liberation X. They initiated with Jewel sitting on top of the turret, taking so much percentage health damage from Best Chuck NA. He was so low before the fight actually kicked off that going for that engagement resulted in them being in a very difficult situation. That is not what we are used to from that lineup, and going for that sort of fight just isn't what we expect from Liberation X. They've been so smart throughout this play, and while they are traditionally all about the aggression, if you're too over-aggressive, making plays like that will be a very easy avenue for Vertigo Black to work their way back in.
Well, 3.4 thousand gold between these teams, but still a few more kills into the pockets there of Vertigo Black. That's going to be great for this Kroll if he can get through. He does have the breaking point now. He's had the Shiver Steel for a while, but this is probably the best situation that we can get for this Kroll at this point. 2 kills, 50 creeps, and finally a little bit of damage under his belt. It's his time to shine, or this could be a potentially very short game for him.
On top of that, the Crucible has also been completed for Beowulf. Status Bake needs to be very careful, though.
Whoa! The stun will hit max range, but there's no follow-up here. Status Bake should be A-OK. Arden coming in, the Solar Storm, clipping Vixen there as well. There's the Life Spring, the Rocket Leap going in, but it will not connect for a stun. And it looks like Vertigo Black, they have had their fill.
The Kraken was actually started in that engagement, and I think that is what forced Vertigo Black to back away because so much damage came out from it. Liberation X now going for a very risky play, decided to start that one out. Beowulf is full health. He knows that this is happening.
Yeah, they absolutely know. Best Chuck's coming back. Vixen at the half hit point mark. They might be able to clean this one up. They have at least pushed off Liberation X, sawing out this Kraken, and it's just going to go back to his own dormant self. But Vertigo Black making sure that they don't lose too many advantages here at the 15-minute mark.
I think it was the smart thing for Liberation X to just back away from that one. Very risky to go for a Kraken play. We've seen it already in this tournament. Going for it when you are not fully prepared can result in a very easy turnaround engagement. So disengaging from that, just going back, buying up your items, making sure that the wave management is done is a fantastic decision coming out from Liberation X.
We have immense amounts of vision on our own side here of Vertigo Black. They really want to make sure that all of their entrances are covered. They do not want to get surprised by anything, and at least 5 there in the middle area, more in their own jungle as well. They are really trying to play a little bit more of an information warfare game, because if they can get a pick at an overextension, they could be back in this game. And speaking of an overextension, that's going to be the gauntlet. One stun, looks for the stun on top of Vixen. Vixen now going to be basically out of this fight, as we did get the Beowulf silence on all 3. Unfortunately, just no real big burst at this point. Excel still looking to bring down Beowulf. Those Heliogenesis range is absolutely insane. Thunder strikes there as well. That's going to pop out the shield. Are we going to look over the wall with that leap? Status Bake thinking maybe, does not do it.
So it looked like that Vertigo Black were in a bit of a difficult situation right there, but they were safely able to disengage from that fight, and I think that was the best decision for them to make, simply because the Tyrant's Monocle had just been completed for Status Bake. He just hit a very big power spike after picking that item up, and if they'd gone for that engagement right there, the fight would have heavily gone in Liberation X's favor.
I don't know if he's getting caught or if he's the one aggressing here, but that is not looking good for Vixen, who's going right on top of Excel. His hit points are going down. The big red button through everyone, but everybody is still ticking. Vixen is still alive despite so much damage. He's finally going to drop, and now Best Chuck and 8 will dodge out 1, but I don't think he's going to dodge out the rest. That's a 2-0 right there for Liberation X.
So Vixen tried to go onto the backline by himself. I wondered, with this itemization completed, with the Aegis, with the Shiver Steel, with the breaking point, he should be fairly easily able to stick onto XL, but he didn't even use the Shiver Steel. XL was just able to kite around with the Broken Myth, with the Eve of Harvest. He was able to sustain that up, and they're going to be able to get the Kraken off the back of this. Major team fight win for Liberation X. They're going to look to crack the base of Vertigo Black.
And 5,000 gold lead now developed here for Liberation X as well. They've taken the kill lead, they've taken the gold. They have a Kraken now to push down, and we're already missing out a turret here from Vertigo Black. Anybody just sets up, they're going to be able to get pounced on here by the team of Liberation. And look at these traps. I mean, Beowulf is just trying her darndest to make sure that this will not come to pass, but a good stun. There's the gauntlet as well. Beowulf can't even move. The Solar Storm just tears right through him, and that is now going to be a man down for the defense of Vertigo Black.
That's also a very long death time of 30 seconds until Beowulf can rejoin the fold, and Best Check and 8 currently sitting on half health. While he does have a lot of wave clear, it is not going to be enough to prevent the Kraken from finally making his way into Vertigo Black's base. They're going to be looking to take on to these crystal turrets, and if they don't have them, this could be game over for Vertigo Black.
Well, one turret is about to drop here. That's a big stun there. Status Bake not really looking so healthy after that Dragon Breath, but they are going to actually survive through Vixen. And once more, Kroll not bringing the pain, not doing the damage that he needs to, and 2 turrets down with a full team and a Kraken. Liberation X moves on tomorrow into the semis to take on Von Menace at 10 a.m. tomorrow.